Hello and welcome back to Glorious Reacts. Before we begin, I would like to introduce ourselves. I am your friend from Down Under, Arnold, and I am joined by the thriller from another, Joel. Say hi, Joel.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Oh, you do. And talking about good feelings, our very own Singapore Sling, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hello, may the force be with you.
Oh, a little bit more cliche, but that's fine.
And also with you.
In this episode, we talk about Star Wars Visions, fresh interpretations of Star Wars lore, as told by various Japanese animated studios through 9 different stories set in the galaxy far, far away. Before we continue, I would like to inform you, dear audience, that this is not a spoiler-free show, and that we will be talking directly about events that occurred in the whole series, most of which will be revealing key story elements. It's not very long, so If you have not watched Star Wars Visions and would like to remain unspoiled, please stop now and come back once you have watched the series. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, because of how Star Wars Visions is more of like it's not exactly an anthology, it's just a series of different stories. We will skip a recap and just go straight into our discussions. And we've arranged the discussion for tonight slightly differently. We will start off with just a rundown of everybody's favorite episodes. So there's 9 episodes in this season of Star Wars Visions, 9 very short episodes. So each one of us will have a particular, judging from what we've from the show notes, we seem to have a very unanimous decision about our favorites. Likewise, we will have we will also talk about our least favorite episodes and some honorable mentions. Okay. And then after that, we will top the show with a question about what we would like to see continued, either with a season 2 or elsewhere. So let us start off with Joel, since he's the one with the most detailed discussion so far.
Oh, yeah, I do. Right.
Joel, start us off with your favorite episode.
My favorite? Well, actually, of all 9 episodes, I found myself appreciating the... And it was weird that I figured this out later on. I found myself appreciating the odd-numbered episodes more. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
Doubt there's anything. Oh, there must be something about that.
Yeah. I started thinking, and and everything connected.
And then there was Mephisto.
Yes, because Mephisto is behind
everywhere.
it all.
Yes, even in the galaxy far, far away. Tell us about these episodes.
So yeah, but my number 1 is actually really, and yeah, I think that this is unanimous. My number 1 is, of course, the Duel. For me, the Duel really started off the entire series on a very strong note. It was, and and I think that it was very evident to anyone who has watched Japanese or is a fan of Japanese films that it draws a lot of inspiration from Kurosawa films, particularly Sanjuro.
Yes.
Yeah, the Sanjuro films, and me being a Kurosawa fan, I really, that's the one that I really like. So it's the Duel for me, and it's also because it's close to my name, Duel.
All right.
No,
okay.
That's just a joke. No, it's
Some
the Duel for
favoritism.
me.
We're
The
asking
Duel.
for your favorite episodes, not for your reach.
Because that's me, right? The lone wolf.
That's the story.
Yeah.
You're right. Right.
Yeah, so it's the Duel, and then I do, like I said, I'm 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. But the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, I do rank them after the Duel. Do I go ahead into my own?
No,
own?
since no, wait, hang on. Since we have this, we have a shared favorite across all 3 of us. Might as well let us all chime in.
So Duel. Yeah.
Paul can continue with what made you like this one. I am pretty certain it has nothing to do with your name. What did you like about this one?
Duel.
I think much of what Joel mentioned is what drew me to, what made me like this. most out of the 9 episodes that we have, nine varying stories that we have. It's for me, it's the feel of the show. It's the most distinct of all of them. From all of the 9 stories, it has the most distinct animation. It has the most distinct uh,
Look and feel?
Even the setting is distinct. I felt like everything else felt like it was in the Star Wars universe, but this felt more rural. It
seemed like the galaxy
different.
far away over at
Farther
Japan.
from the Star Wars
Over at
universe.
Japan. I mean,
It was so far away that it went all the way back
to Earth. Exactly.
Yeah, back to Earth. Yeah, but Earth, I don't know if even Earth is canon in the Star Wars universe. But
doesn't matter.
yeah, but it had this very distinct feel to it that I didn't find in the other stories that were featured. Some of them maybe it tangentially had that same feeling because they're from Japanese storytellers, but this had the strongest amongst, and the scenes that they had, especially the waterfall scene, they're very Joel mentioned it. It's very reminiscent of a samurai film back in the day. So this by far is what drew me and what made me love this amongst all the 9 episodes.
Excellent. I mean, similar things. So I won't just reiterate the points. I do want to highlight a few things about Kamikaze Doga, which is the studio that made this. They are the same guys behind Batman Ninja.
Yes.
So if you watch that one in Netflix, there's a lot of parallelisms in terms of the look and feel. Surprisingly, one of the best things that Kamikaze Doga is known for is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which has nothing to do with this show. But I mean, it's still amazing.
They probably would have gotten a whole lot more fans. So
if it were JoJo,
they did it JoJo style because it's been so big.
It's been recently been very big. Yes.
I don't know if it. Well, I guess they can try. I mean, there's always a second season to try it out. Right?
Yeah,
because
JoJo style.
Because
imagine
style
JoJo
is
being
over the top.
A Jedi.
Yeah, a Jedi.
That is true. So that's one of the things that really. So they've already they've cut their teeth in terms of ancient, medieval Japanese anime style, and they've even shown us here. Obviously, this one's a lot more sketchy, and the twist in the end. Obviously, I wouldn't have expected the lightsaber to turn red, and I was like, oh, really? That was an awesome twist. I really enjoyed that one.
A question. Now, this is a question that I've been asked: is he a Sith, or is he a former Jedi or a Jedi Ronin who is going after Siths?
That's very good because when he opened his coat, right, we see Kyber crystals. They're all red.
Yeah, they're all red.
He's been hunting. Or he's been beating Sith left and right. So the only Kyber crystals he has access to, if ever his lightsaber got broken, was red Kyber crystals. So I don't know. I'm in the camp where I think he's a Jedi, and he's just minding his own business, and he actually doesn't go out of his way to hunt. It's just that he gets into this
people
situations.
just decide to kill him because he's just so killable.
they
just like it's like the whole concept of Sanjo. The samurai wanderer doesn't really expect to he's not really
Get
hunting
involved.
for bad guys. It just so happens that every town that he goes to actually has bad guys.
There's a problem to be solved.
Yeah.
This is obviously very different to how the Ghost of Tsushima is, because of there he looks for trouble, whereas here he's just, I'm just passing by, which is literally what he says. I'm just passing by.
Yeah.
And then could you
The samurai wanderer? That's
could you fix my droid before the water kettle?
That was so cool.
Right?
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Everything about this show, about this episode was the Afro samurai was like, wow, throwback. Because there is a show called Afro Samurai. And
that was really nice.
That's actually very,
I love that.
over the top.
And even, really the weapon of the Sith in this episode,
the umbrella.
The umbrella. Oh my god, that was so whoa.
And
That's new.
you see the ragtag group of
The scoundrels. Yep.
the scoundrels who are, I assume they're scoundrels, right? Because
Yeah.
these seem to be all set in the Outer Rim, so
Yeah.
they seem to be scoundrels protecting this
The
village.
bounty hunters protecting the village.
Yeah.
The village. So obviously there was all shapes and sizes. We have droids. We had I forget all of these types of of aliens.
Trandoshan.
But
Is it
there's
Trandoshan?
a lot of them.
Bosk's race.
Type of race, yes, the lizard.
Yeah, Trandoshan.
So there's so many of them, and it was great. It was just a fun time watch.
I love the guy who is piloting the probe. Like it's a husk of a probe droid, but there's a
Yeah.
guy inside piloting it.
Was it the same race as the who was the
Quill?
who was the who was the one who always in the first, not the first, Phantom Menace in the pod race,
Oh, the guy with the nose.
with the, with the nose, yes, with four
the guy who
with 4
can't
feet.
I
forget what his
Jedi
name
mind
was.
trick.
Yeah. He had
I
a
forgot.
strong,
I forgot
like-
his race.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they
no,
have
not him, not the owner of Anakin.
Oh, okay.
The guy who's always Syndulla, the one who's always first, the one who always I forgot his name, but
I don't
sort
remember
of
Phantom Menace so much.
That's all right. That's okay.
I think that not a lot of us want to remember Phantom Menace.
It's part of the
Don't
canon,
be so harsh.
unfortunately. Anyway, we're not talking about the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
we're talking
yeah.
about great things here. Let's go through our honorable mentions.
Wait.
then.
I want to say something.
Oh, yes, sure.
'Cause I'm so excited about this, the duel. I love this episode so much. So, it's also very reminiscent for when I was watching it. I also kind of thought back to when I was watching Samurai Champloo. There's a lot of scenes that were very similar. It's just that Samurai Champloo is very colorful, and I love that this is just black and white. You know.
Mm.
With just the sabers that are lighting up or the blasters that are lighting up. I love that aesthetic. And it's the only one that's like that.
That's
I
true,
get-
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
that's why it's so
distinct.
unique.
That's why you said
why
it's distinct.
so it pops up from all the 9 episodes. I can name a number of them which are very colorful. It's like over the top colorful, which I. But this is like
Which is like Arnold's one of Arnold's.
let's go there later. Arnold starts talking. Yeah, but yeah, this by far, like I think this is the best out of all the 9.
It's
But
very
I'm not
unanimous.
saying that the remaining 8 are bad. It's just that this will stand out, and I think it's gonna be for everyone. It will be the standout episode for everyone.
Across
to-
the board.
Yeah,
Anyone who
across the
watches
board.
online.
I'm trying to see if it's a fair amount. It's a fair share of real estate in the poster. We just have the Ronin standing on the bottom, and he's black and white, obviously. But everybody else gets in equal billing. All right, so Joe, we'll start. Continue us off with your honorable mentions.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the what do you call this? The lightsaber turning red, and because of the twist, I mean the main thing that makes this my honorable mention, my first honorable mention, is that the twist that happened in this episode, Ninth Jedi.
Yeah.
It was so cool. Aside from the fact, well, I don't. It's not really part of the fact that it was cool that Simu Liu was actually one of the voice actors for this one.
I did not know that. It was just much later, and I was like, really?
Yeah, because you wouldn't
Current
really
hotness.
recognize it.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, you have that, and the fact that that instant when the lightsabers turned on,
Yeah.
and then they were all red,
Yeah.
and they were all of a sudden they
like,
were
What?
surrounded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for the one.
That was so
one
cool,
dude, yeah.
and also the fact that it's not canon, but the fact that they added a little bit of information about how one's connectedness to the Force affects or influences
the color.
with your lightsaber,
The length, width,
the length,
size,
and the color,
yeah,
right?
Yes.
So
and the intensity of the color, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
Hers started translucent.
translucent.
I kind of like that lightsaber.
black
I
one.
thought like she'll carry over that sort of like invisible but semi-visible lightsaber, and it'll be like one of the things that she can use to defeat people in battle because they don't
cannot
know
see
if
how
there's a
long my lightsaber
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
But yeah,
They
but
don't know
if you noticed, despite the fact that it was translucent, it went really long.
Yep.
It did, yeah.
I actually thought it was like a berserk type of sword, the like the horse cleaver,
Oh, okay.
or like
Very long.
Sephiroth's Masamune,
The
because it was
very
so long. It's like
Yeah.
what?
No, she just has to
That's
know how
really
to control
exciting.
it.
That was really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that twist that really got me to liking. For most of the episode, I was like, okay, standard Star Wars story.
You can pretty much
telling.
expect what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, first thing you have that it's translucent. Wait a minute, is this canon in Star Wars?
Right.
I don't think it is.
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it being this way. And then all of a sudden that twist in the place with the other Jedi, quote unquote. Right?
Oh,
That was so
red.
cool.
It's like it's actually such a great visual cue, wherein, especially since in Japanese samurai storytelling, there's a lot of long pregnant pauses, wherein you just have this panoramic view. You have the wind blowing, grasses, and then you have these two figures, very much like in the first episode, in Ronin, wherein they're just standing there, and you rely on visual cues, and the color is a great way of saying it tells you a lot of stories of, oh god, these guys are evil guys, you know.
Yeah.
It's great.
I have a question though. The guy who actually turned in the end because he was really empathic.
Yeah.
Did his saber actually start out purple, or was
it was red.
it was red as well, right?
When
Everyone else got
was
killed
dead,
off.
yeah, it turned purple.
Okay.
Was it because he was affected by everybody else's emotion?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
empathic.
He got carried
so-
away.
Yeah, because
That's it. So don't get carried away with your anger, kids.
yes, that's like the main tenet of being a Jedi.
Being a Jedi.
Emotions are bad.
Well, control your emotions.
Okay.
Continue on with your next.
The next one.
If you can run down those really quick.
Yeah, I'll go through it. So yeah, I've got the Elder, which is also one of Paul's honorable mentions. I really like.
Let's just outright say Joel's and my picks are just, they're the best.
More or less the same. Yeah.
They're the best. We can end on this note. So, guys, thank
But
you
you
for
do have like a
watching.
dislike that I like. You do have a dislike that I like.
Yes. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so the Elder's one was actually pretty cool. Because of the fact it gave us a different kind of story about the three stages of a Jedi.
Yeah.
You've got the young Jedi, the Jedi at his prime, almost going over the hill, and then the Sith, who's like already over the hill.
Yeah.
But everyone is at a different stage of their journey in the Force.
Yes.
And you can still see that the Force, even though the Sith is already at the end of his journey, he was still able to challenge the both of them.
The Master and the Padawan.
If not for the Arya move done by the Prime Jedi, right? That was the Arya move.
That's true.
No, but
Throw
then
my back.
the Sith got distracted by the Padawan also. That helped.
That's what he
Yeah.
meant. That's what he meant.
No. He
No,
meant the turning off the
retracting and the-
lightsaber.
Gotcha. Okay, and then
Which
suddenly.
I love, by the way, because I've never
It's
seen that
never
done
been seen.
before. Yes.
That's what makes Vision so cool. They're
Yeah.
showing us. They're really showing us things that George Lucas never thought of this.
Yeah.
Hey, never thought of umbrella lightsabers. Come on.
Umbrella lightsaber. Never thought of an umbrella lightsaber. Oh my gosh. Right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
and then some of the concepts that they added are actually pretty cool. That I hope that in one way or another, George Lucas will retcon into the main universe.
Right.
Wow, that's asking a bit.
I don't
We're
know.
talking about a 30,
So the
40-year-old
midichlorians will have your
lore.
the amount of midichlorians in your body will affect the color of your lightsaber. Right?
That'll be an awesome way of actually explaining away why we have different lightsaber colors. Apart from the crystal.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the
Apart-
crystals.
yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
for my third honorable mention, like I said, it's 13579, but this is episode 9. I like Akakiri. I like the fact that it ended on a very dark note.
Yeah.
It ended the series on a very dark note. The
Okay.
series started on a very powerful, very positive note, and then, well, not really quite positive. You're not quite sure if he's a Jedi or Sith,
Right.
but it ended really on a very dark note.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I like the fact that it didn't end on a happily ever after note.
I think this is what if affecting you.
Probably,
My my
probably.
my only problem with that is I've seen it before
It's
Oh,
not.
really? Oh, well, with the
with
Emperor and Anakin.
Anakin, right?
Yeah.
So I was expecting something more original, but when I mean because it's original because of the characters are original. I give them that. The setting is original. But when I saw the underlying story, it's like, okay,
Mm.
it's not my favorite. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite because I've seen that story before, and it's
Mm.
just a repeat of something that they've already told. So it's okay. That's why
It's
it's
not
not
really on
in
your
my
list.
dislike. I didn't dislike it, but it's just not.
It wasn't as powerful for you as it
Yeah,
was for
yeah.
Joel.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, and then yeah. Anyway, Barnum.
I know. I was just asking you about because you noted something about the Village Bride. But
Yeah, to an
I
extent, I did like it. Maybe because we Arnold, we were talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
The Village Bride is the most what do you call this? Studio
Studio
Ghibli
Ghibli
Yes,
related.
Ghibli-esque.
yeah.
That's what I used.
Yeah,
Ghibli-esque.
and because I'm also a fan of Studio Ghibli, there is that affinity,
First time I
to
saw
how
them
they-
going up, I was thinking Mononoke Hime.
right? And
Yeah.
it was all the
The walk.
nature,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the connection to nature and all
Yeah.
of that.
The walk
Yeah,
and the
and
carrying.
again, yeah, they introduced something new.
Hmm.
Booster high heels.
A Jedi can fight in high heels,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I like that heroine.
Yeah.
She was cool. And then there was the whole conflict within her, whether or not to actually accept her being a Jedi, because she was hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The villain here is funny. It reminds me so much of director Krennic.
Yes.
It's like
It's a bit unfortunate because Krennic's character was supposed to be a little bit more um, daunting because of his genius, because of how smart he is.
Yep.
But towards the end, but he became sort of like a joke character, unfortunately.
yeah, but that's too bad. I love that actor. It's
Oh.
just too bad that they get. That's why they gave him another chance, right? In Captain Marvel.
We had a bit
Yeah.
more fun with him in Captain Marvel. He continues on. We just don't see his face
Yeah.
because underneath all of that, what do you call this?
Yeah.
But is that his normal voice accent? I have no idea.
I think Krennic is his normal voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
His Aussie accent isn't exactly the.
It's not so. It's not so.
It's not his normal voice.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight, since we've done this for the duel, before Paul jumps into his honorable mentions, the Ninth Jedi was shot by Production IG, which is the most I guess the most known, I guess apart from Trigger. Production IG is the one that is most known, what do you call this, studio here.
Studio.
And they are known for, stuff like Shingeki no Kyojin, which is Attack on Titan, and Haikyuu, which is the volleyball anime. Oh no, even Kuroko no Basket is also theirs. So there's a lot. Psycho Pass is theirs. What
They've
you call
done a lot. Yep.
Theirs was,
Why did they do like a sports theme?
They are,
story?
yeah. And
They could have done a pod racing episode.
They could
Never,
have done
we'll
a
get to
pod
that. We'll
racing
get to
one.
that later. We'll get to that later.
Psycho Pass was theirs. What do you call this? Magus Bride was theirs. There was one more, and this would actually surprise you, but they were also part of the group who created End of Evangelion. So the animation style obviously is a lot newer. It's more recent now.
Yep.
Elder, let's see. Elder is by Trigger, which is what was the other one that's also popular. And I have a special place in my heart for Trigger. This is the reason why the Twins is gonna be something I'll be talking about later, even if you guys don't like it.
I actually did like it. It's my last honorable mention.
Oh, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
I didn't
Oh, it's
like
the other one that you didn't like. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's the
So
other
the
one
twins
that I
is
didn't like.
the most one the most popular one for Trigger is Kill la Kill. Not Kill la Kill. Yes, Kill la Kill.
Ak- ak- uh,
Kill la Kill and
and
uh,
Akaga
Little Witch
Akame
Academia.
ga Kill?
No, not that.
Is that
That's
theirs?
not
No.
theirs.
Okay, okay.
Akami ga Kill is not theirs.
That
Theirs is
one's
Kill la
same as
Kill.
the studio for Tengen Toppa Gurenlangan, right?
Yes.
Okay, right.
So Kill la Kill, Darling of the Franxx, Kisnaver, and Little Witch Academia. I'm sure some of you have watched that one. And Gridman, which a lot of... there's another one in Netflix, the one with the furries. BNA is also theirs. And then The Village Bride is by...
the guy with the wolf, right? That goes into high school.
Guy with the... No.
The big wolf that goes into high school and becomes best friend with the bunny. Is that it?
No, that's something else.
Beastars. Oh, Beastars.
Beastars.
Yeah,
That's
it's different.
Beastars,
Yeah, sorry, that's different.
Village Bride is by Kinema Citrus, and Kinema Citrus is known for Tatiniyusha no Nariagari, which is Rise of the Shield Hero. And,
Rising. Yeah, yep.
And there was another one. Oh, that's probably not as popular. Black Bullet and some of the Code Colon titles. So Code Colon Berserk and Code Colon Hack Quantum is theirs. So which is pretty popular, I guess. So Joel, that's it.
Yeah.
Paul, did you want to add anything for the Elder or the Ninth Jedi?
No, so the reason why
you're
these are the three things that I put. So first being the Duel, which I've been raving about since the start of the episode. The Elder and the Ninth Jedi. So the reason why I chose all of these three is because of the feel. They gave a different feel. They put in a different concept, and their story is different. That's everything else. Maybe I've seen some type of that story in the canon or the Legends universe.
Gotcha, yes. Okay.
But these three, I felt like they're really like the studio got the okay to do a Star Wars, and they just ran with it.
Yeah.
You know. So you see them put distinct things that's truly theirs. And they put out something that still fits in the Star Wars universe, but still having their own signature. And I love. That's why I have all these things, because I felt that from these three episodes.
Yeah.
The Knife Jedi I loved because it reminds kind of when they convene. It reminds me of the seventh. There was an anime. No. Samurai 7?
Samurai 7.
There is an anime called Samurai 7.
Right? When the different samurais get together and they try to protect a village, right?
That's based on Seven Samurai.
Yeah,
Kurosawa.
exactly.
Which is another...
Except that this
is
is
that a Kurosawa movie as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But here it's more of like, because that was an anime that they based off the Kurosawa, the Seven Samurai, right? But then this is some sort. But then there was a twist that's like, that blew me away. So that's why I put it there. The Elder, it's more of the fighting. This is where I love like when you watch anime, one of the things that draws you in is because like when you watch Naruto, it's all the fighting scenes.
Right.
Dragon Ball, it's over the top. Everything is exploding. A fireball will, take out a mountain. So
this one wasn't so over the top in that regard. It's really more. Yeah.
But you'll see the anime style of fighting in that when the Elder was just,
because the Elder was dual wielding.
Moves.
He was doing. Yeah. He was dual wielding. So which is like who is this popular character in he was very much romanticized in literature, Japanese literature, that dual wielded. Can you guys remember it off the top of your heads? He's shown up in a lot of anime and games. I can't remember what his name.
Yojimbo?
I think Yojimbo was no, I can't remember. I do remember Usagi Yojimbo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he
No,
does.
I think
But
because it was,
Usagi Yojimbo is based on
yeah,
Yojimbo.
because of Yojimbo.
Maybe it is him who has two swords. If I
But
remember,
doesn't fighting with two weapons, isn't that called akimbo?
maybe I have no
Yeah,
idea.
Akimbo. Yep.
That's it. Because since they based the fighting style of the Elder with the romanticized period of samurai, compared to the more traditional fighting style of the Master and the Padawan, it was just cool to see because obviously the same fighting style, and even the twin lightsabers were shorter. And they
And
kind
it
of
had an edge. It looked like it looked like
had
an actual
actually had a
sword.
form. It had
right?
actually had a form.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the flashlight.
Yeah.
And
It was like the Dark Blade.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't watched it
I
yet.
haven't watched it. I haven't watched whatever
But
it is you guys are
it's
talking
in-
about. Never mind. Continuing on. Was there anything
It's
else
in
that you wanted
Rebels.
to add, Paul?
No.
All right.
That's yeah. We
Fantastic.
can move on. We can move
For
on.
the honorable mentions, we've already talked about the twins, and the main reason why I really like the twins is because I mentioned I actually do like Trigger's other anime, Kill la Kill, the over the topness of that one, and you can see that clearly in the way that they told the story for here, wherein you actually jam a kyber crystal into your armor and you turn into the
That was actually
iron
that was
spider.
pretty cool.
Then you turn into the iron spider, and you have this.
No, you turn into General Grievous.
No, you turn into
That's true, actually.
iron octopus.
Well, General Grievous, right? With the extra arms.
General Grievous only has
But
Spinning
then again,
lightsabers.
four. Grievous only has
those
four.
were lightsabers. This was light tentacles.
Okay.
Light tentacles. No, it was just great. It was fantastic. The mere fact that these two twins are so powerful they can breathe in space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. That's
They
the
were
reason
Princess
why
Leia level.
I am not gonna go into that because that's going to the dislikes already. But I will touch on that.
Yeah, touch on that
Just
later.
touch.
I just
Just
fantastically loved the idea.
Yeah.
That was just so
Maybe
So much so
maybe
that even in a region of space where a droid needs a breathing apparatus, they could
They
breathe.
don't. Yeah, they don't.
So I like that where it was coming from. You could clearly see the way it was drawn. That's like, oh, right, okay, this is something that is very akin to that style of show. The one thing that seemed to be that nobody else put down was I put down as a honorable mention was Tatooine Rhapsody, which is episode 3. Tatooine Rhapsody is by Trigger. There you go. No, sorry, no. Studio Colorido. Studio Colorido is not known for much. Actually, not yet.
I think it shows.
I did watch Burn the Witch, which was I kind of liked that one. But the art styles, they're older works, so they have a lot of older works, which is very akin to early 90s, late 80s style of anime. A lot of Ghibli-ish kids.
I was thinking that was going to be the most Ghibli-esque.
Right? But no, it's not. It's all about the music. Now, the reason why I really enjoyed it is, for one, I actually enjoyed the song. And it got me similar vibes too. And you guys probably remember this, but there was a point in time wherein Daft Punk created a series of anime MTVs because they had this album that was one story. All of the songs was one story was one story. If you listen to them, if you watch the corresponding music videos, it was drawn in the same anime art style as such classics as Daimos and Volta Spy.
It was. Yeah, I remember that.
70s style art style.
Cowboy Bebop.
No, it wasn't Cowboy
No.
Bebop. It was a lot older.
That's how I got introduced to Daft Punk.
Really?
Videos.
There you go.
Isn't Around the World one of those songs?
No, it wasn't Around the World.
Oh, okay.
I have the tune in my head.
Yeah, because it's Daft Punk. You always have that tune in your head. Why
but that
don't you play
specific
the
tune of that.
game? Then something
Yeah,
like
that one.
So it was great. It was just I just remember that and like okay, there was like sort of like an homage. Oh, there was a time that anime and music and the music in anime is very very closely intertwined, and I really enjoyed that for this one. And then those was a sort of feel good movie because it was hope in despite the desperation of the fact that he was going to be killed off by Jabba the Hutt, no less. And Jabba the Hutt is known to be very, very, unforgiving, right?
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that you could see a chibi Jabba the Hutt. It's not
And a
very
chibi Boba Fett.
a chibi Boba Fett, a chibi everybody,
Yep.
right? I just really enjoyed that. It was very lighthearted, and going through. It was a proof that even in Star Wars, friendship can can solve all problems.
Oh my gosh, the Naruto,
The
One
Naruto trope
Piece.
that it's not a Naruto trope. It's existed since the beginning of time. Friendship
Yeah,
friendship
friendship wins over.
wins
everything.
over
Friendship power.
adversity, right? It's friendship power. So I really enjoyed that one. And now the guys were gonna go break it down by starting Joel off with
Yeah.
his top dislike, which
Wait,
is
sorry. No, before we move to
Oh,
dislike,
sure.
I just want to say I actually like Tatooine Rhapsody. I just didn't put it in the top 3
because the
of
other three
the-
are more
because
organized.
because the other 3 are more
Oh.
akin to my taste. But I
That's
really
fair.
I don't dislike Tatooine Rhapsody. I actually like it. Reminds me a lot of an anime I think you watched it also. Akazuki Chacha.
Yes.
Oh.
It's very reminiscent, like a child or like Doraemon-esque.
Doraemon
yeah.
Doraemon is a little bit of a stretch, but yeah, sure.
Like with like the very
Very childish,
for like
yeah.
for kids, for younger
Yeah.
audience type of anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go here. Joel, tear this down.
I'm not gonna tear it down. I think the bigger reason why I don't quite appreciate the 2 that I have here is because I binged most of the episodes in one sitting.
This is fair, and this is something I'll be highlighting a bit in my
Right?
dislike as well.
Yeah, because you have that. I mean, and because that's how it was released, so you expect it to be binged
Bingeable.
in one go.
Yeah.
I'm now thinking that if I had probably watched it separately, I might have appreciated Rhapsody, my 2 dislikes, Rhapsody, Tatooine Rhapsody, and T0B1, TOB1. Because I mean, yeah, it's very evident that these are the 2 most childish episodes among all the 9, and everything else is like really it's got an edge, it's got all of those things. Yeah, probably if I had watched it separately, I probably would have been able to appreciate it a little bit more.
Yep.
Not saying that it's going to make my top list, right, of likes, but I
Yep.
probably
Yeah.
wouldn't dislike it. Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, Rhapsody. It was promising because it sort of gave you the idea, the start of Fallen Order, similar to the start of Fallen Order. A Padawan who had to hide away because Order 66 had just happened.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But this guy, instead of becoming a scrapper, becomes a rock star.
Yeah.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
because of a hut.
Because of a hut.
Nonetheless.
And then he actually wasn't getting hunted. It was the hut who was hunted. He
Yeah.
wasn't yet. He could have gone on living, right?
Yes.
Not revealing himself as a Jedi or a Padawan. Yeah, I'm coming to think that it's probably because of the way that I watched the episodes. That's why I don't quite appreciate Rhapsody and
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
And anything particular about Toby, about TOB1 that you
That didn't
did
quite
not,
get
jive
me.
with what you're watching?
Yeah, aside from the fact that it was really a little too kiddie for me.
There's no denying
that was it. It also had promise because it was reminiscent of Astro Boy,
Yeah.
especially the professor.
Oh my gosh.
Was the first time I saw the
Oh
professor. Oh my
my
god,
gosh.
it's Professor Elephant.
Yes.
Yes.
It's armless Professor Elephant.
Yeah.
I was half waiting for Astro Boy to find the for Toby 1 to find the Kyber crystal in his butt.
But at least it was still inside him.
Yeah.
Right?
It was inside him. It just doesn't shoot out of his tush.
Yeah. But even the design of Toby was sort of.
Very,
It was
very
really Astro Boy.
Yeah, it's
Right?
very similar.
But it's not the same studio.
No.
No?
So it's not a studio. That art style is it's very it's it's pretty much IP'd by Tezuka, who is the godfather of the god of manga and anime. But a lot of people have copied his style already. So it's not particularly attached to a studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. It's not really so much a harsh dislike, but it's probably because of the way that I watched the series.
Paul, how about you?
Yeah. Okay, so
Now this is, I think, where we're going to have like some problems.
no, mine is not the animation. Because I love Gurren Lagann, I love Kill la Kill, I love over the top animation where, they just go for it. It's just the fact that they
Breathed in space.
yeah, they just broke physics.
Because it's Star Wars.
Have you
Yeah, but
Kill la Kill is all about it's all about how have you seen how they're dressed?
I know, I get that. It's just that there's something, when I mentioned like, oh, I like this because it's kind of over the top. They ran with it. The studio went like, hey, they just put their signature all over it and just did it. So this the twins, they delivered in that aspect.
Yeah.
But it just didn't jive with me. It's just that scene where he was on top of the on the X-wing,
yeah.
and then he just
For me, there's actually a very big loophole there, because why would an X-wing be on a destroyer if the twin was not originally already a rebel?
right. Why would they have a destroyer in their hangar?
No,
Sorry, why
X-wing.
would they? Yeah, why would the
Yes,
X-wing be on the
right?
hangar?
It was
Unbeknownst to everyone who is watching the same hangar.
yeah,
They just broke so many laws. Come on.
Laws of Star Wars.
because it's vision.
Plus,
I have to.
I hate the fact that they use the same maneuver that Holdo used.
It was an homage to the Holdo maneuver.
He hyperspaced through the Star Destroyer with a lightsaber as big as what? As big as the ninth Jedi. You remember that scene where they left and the asteroid looked like a
spotlight.
lightsaber?
Yeah.
It looked like he was holding that same lightsaber and he just ran through. It was just too much for me. I guess there was a point where it was like, oh, this is too much.
I have to agree that of all of them, I think the twins had the weakest story. It started off very, very interesting because what the hell? It's a double
twins.
Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gemini. First time.
The Gemini.
they're both
I mean, I would totally agree that design could exist.
Yeah.
And
And the
it's-
firepower is as strong
As
as a
strong
Death
as a
Star.
Death
As a Death
Yeah.
Star, so it's obviously more maneuverable probably than the Death Star was. Except that it would die with an oversized lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to agree that it was the weakest story. It started off really great, the potential of
You had twins formed
manufactured
out of the dark.
twins.
Yeah.
They're
Out
manufactured
of the dark side
out
of the Force.
the dark side of the Force. Exactly. So it's a complete. It's sort of you could say that it's a bastardization of the Leia and Luke twins.
I think that was the intention.
the point.
It was probably.
And you were like,
basis.
whoa! I mean, I was expecting. Again, I wasn't expecting it to have a very, very, very strong, compelling story because of Kill la Kill was the first thing in my head. And if you really watch that show, it was just more of a joyride than anything else. So I'm not putting that against you that it's
My
bad
putting
in
it
that
as a
regards.
dislike, by no means am I saying it's bad. It's just not my cup of tea, basically what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like all the 9 stories that they have in the show, it's their own personal take on
Yes.
a story that based on in the Star Wars universe. And that's great because we need more original content based on based off the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Whether it's a canon or not, I am okay. A lot of people would rather have canon stuff. A lot of people would want legend made canon. I don't really mind as long as we get more stories out of it. So yeah, I mean the twins is just too over the top for me. Yeah, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
No,
it's still
no,
good.
no.
It's still very good.
This is the first time we've actually talked about Toby, TOB1. So I'll have a little bit of detail on Toby. Toby is by Science Saru. And Science Saru, surprisingly, the one that they're most known for recently is Devil May Cry.
No way.
Sorry, not Devil
No
May Cry.
way.
Devil Man Crybaby.
Yeah.
Which is
no.
still... Which is,
Yeah. It's like, it's this way.
Exactly. So Devilman Crybaby was available in Netflix. It was amazing, but obviously very, very gory, based off of
The style is so different.
It was based off of the a very popular manga and anime from the late 80s, early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. That was very, very bloody, and it's all about demons, very gratuitous gore and blood.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look down at their list of previous works, and I can't find one that specifically looks like an art style that they took from Tezuka. So maybe there's other stuff there. I have no idea. I have no dislike. my least favorite, I guess. My least favorite of all of these three would have probably been what do you call this? Would have probably been sorry?
The three that we've got listed.
No, because I was just gonna try to actually put in a dislike because I didn't write down a dislike. Right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I didn't put down a dislike. So, but for me, the least favorite. So it was both my favorite, one of my favorites, and my least honorable mention and least favorite is also the twins because of how weak the story was. Everything else had a very, very strong, compelling story, and and this is one of the reasons why I'm pretty certain that at least the three of us would like to see more of these stories continued somehow in one shape or form. Now, as of the moment, we have no confirmation of a second season for Visions. I'm pretty certain that they plan this to be a one-off thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Very much like the Animatrix was like an anthology.
I'm just curious. Because this is an episode none of us ever even mentioned. What are your thoughts about Lopen Ocho?
I think us not talking about it is actually our reaction.
It's very forgettable, I guess, is what I could say. I like the style. It's
right there in the middle.
Arnold,
doesn't
do you
really
have
quite...
in your notes? Do we have the studio who made it? Do you have it in your notes?
It's Geno. So Geno Studio is known for I think the only one you'd probably be familiar with is Golden Kamuy if you even bothered watching that. So but apart from that, not much.
Okay, we talked about it. Let's move on.
I'm assuming you didn't watch
that one's the most Dragon Ball in art, right? Am I right saying that?
It's very reminiscent of One Punch Man, not Dragon Ball, right? Isn't
of
like
the art style?
The girl looked like a lot like a character from One Punch Man. The sister, the one who cut her hair.
Ocho.
Oh yeah, right? Because Lop is of course the rabbit.
I guess I don't know. It just really flew over my head. I guess. If, for example, the twins' story was very weak, it didn't fly over my head because of how over the top stuff was. So I remembered it. But actually, both Lop and Ocho and Akakiri were very much, except for the ending of Akakiri, obviously, were just not as, actually Toby as well wasn't as, but I just really liked how I'll talk about that a bit more in the next section. But yeah, it didn't really stick to me. I guess that's what I say. So might as well take us into what episode we hope to see more of in one shape or form, or what the continuation would be. So, I'll start off with Joel. Is there any particular episode that you want to have? You want whether it becomes an official story inside Star Wars mainline, or that Lucas Studios gives the blessing to the studio that worked on it to continue on into something like a series or a movie. Is there something particular? Because, sorry, I just wanted to highlight, we do have the only continuation we have confirmed is Ronin will be a book. Ronin is the character in the Duel. And so there will be a book that's going to be released, which essentially continues the story of the Wandering Samurai.
That's a big thing.
That's a pretty big thing, yes.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Now, do we have any other stories that we want in particular?
For me, if only for the fact that I think that it's the one that added the most to canon.
Yeah.
If ever it gets accepted to canon, I want Ninth Jedi to get continued somewhere else.
Yes. Can we?
That whole concept of one's connectedness to the Force affecting their lightsaber. That was so, for me, revolutionary. That was revolutionary for me.
Can we agree? Oh, but if they do that though, Rey won't be the only. Because do we remember what the name of the girl character's name was? I can't remember her name. But she's very similar to Rey in that regard. She was just some character in the background happens to grab a lightsaber and has this natural knack for it.
No, she was being trained.
Was she ever trained?
Yeah, by the
By the Margrave Juro.
Margrave, yes. She knows the Margrave personally, right?
She
I
does.
think she's been trained.
But I thought
she does,
was
but I
more
don't think
because
that-
he was
yeah.
he was a
Like a
frequent
benefactor.
like a benefactor to her father.
Also,
who
isn't
was
her
the-
father is a Force user? So he would have been training her.
It wasn't clear. I don't know. I guess I'll have to rewatch. But I
Yeah.
felt that she was untrained. I mean, to the same level as a Padawan would have been. Right. So she seemed to be just very similar to Rey in that regard, from my point of view. So, but yeah. How about you, Paul? Is there any particular? Oh, sorry, Joel. Continue on. If there's anything else you wanted to add to.
No, I just wanted to highlight, because you mentioned that wouldn't she be just the same as Rey? But you do remember that in canon, in the most recent trilogy, there are a whole lot more Force sensitive
individuals.
people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember the stable boy who
Yeah.
just forced the
broom to
to
sweep.
him. Yeah.
No, you're mistaken about that, Joe. That kid was from was trained by Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
He was
For
the sorcerer's
Fantasia.
apprentice.
It's a
He was the
different. It's a
I
different
see.
power.
He was the
altogether.
sorcerer's
the
apprentice.
Force.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Force. Yeah, that's magic.
Yeah, so that was making
This
Mouse
is
magic.
referencing cartoons that kids nowadays have no idea what it is.
They have
I'm
a different
sorry.
Fantasia already.
Fantasia was what, circa 1980.
I'm
But it
sorry.
was like one of the best.
I'm sorry for
That's great.
interrupting.
But anyway, yeah, I mean,
Go.
in the Star Wars universe, there are a lot of Force sensitive beings.
Finn.
Yeah.
Finn is Force
Vince
sensitive.
is Force sensitive.
True.
That's why the saber went to him, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
it's not
there's a lot of
far-fetched.
there's a lot of points for them to actually pick up that story and continue on.
Yeah, and but the thing that they're gonna have to retcon in is really the closeness, or your how the lightsaber changes colors depending on your emotion.
Not
Does
based
that
on
is
the
that going
Kyber
to-
crystal.
Yeah, not just
Only-
based on the Kyber
only on
crystal.
the Kyber crystal.
Does that mean that anyone who what do you call this? Yeah, anyone can become a Sith based on emotion, because that is one of the central, like I mentioned a while ago, that is one of the primary tenets of Jedi. Emotion
your
is bad,
emotions.
so you have to control your emotions.
Control your
Between-
emotions. Not
between-
emotions bad. Control your emotions. Don't give
Love
in
is
to anger,
bad,
because
yeah?
anger leads to hate.
Leads to hate.
Hate leads to suffering. So it's all just
But then again,
those kinds
but
of
it starts
emotions.
with fear, though.
Fear,
leads to
yeah.
anger.
Yeah. That's true. I also want to establish that the best way to acquire kyber crystals is by shooting a slingshot from the earth, acquire, then
Into an
pulling it
asteroid.
down, manually pulling it down, and then that's how you do it. That's one of the best ways. Paul, is there any particular episode or story that you wanted to be continued?
I actually have the same. I have the same episodes that I want to see continued as Joel. So I really want the Ninth Jedi and the Duel. But if you will allow me, I actually want to add a couple of things that I want to see in the next season as basis for original stuff that they want to do. Because I feel like the 9 stories that we have, they're all about Jedis and lightsabers. But a big part of what I love about Star Wars is actually Han Solo. I love smugglers. I love
the scum and villainy side.
The scum and the bounty hunters.
And since this is in the outer realm,
but we're already getting a Boba Fett series.
Yeah, but this is in a take from a different studio or a different artist doing their version of it. So I want to see more of Mandalorians, bounty hunters.
I want to highlight the fact that of all of these episodes, the closest to scum and villainy is Tatooine Rhapsody.
That's true.
They weren't
that
even
is
scummy.
True.
They were villainous.
They were not scummy. No, well, those weapons are very illicit. Come in. Have you ever seen a flamethrower guitar? Come on.
Yes, I have. Mad Max.
That's fair. See, very scummy.
Yeah. And then you have things like pod racing. You remember you have a lot of the outer rim stuff that I guess in passing were touched upon because that's the setting, but not really like aspects of it were not. Because if you watch like the most recent series like The Mandalorian, a lot of people don't really know about like Jedi and Sith. They're different. Like there's a different feel to it because they're ignorant of the fact that there's this Jedi Sith battle that's going on. So the lack of knowledge of that is different. It's shown differently, and it's that's why a lot of people when they see it for the first time they think of it as magic. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I want to. I want to see more of that. The non-force side of Star Wars universe, brought to life in the hands of these artists. So yeah, that's my thing.
That's fair.
I just have to add an idea because Paul said that this series, the 9 episodes, talks a lot about Jedi. I actually think that it talked a whole lot more about the Sith side of the Force. It highlighted the Sith side of the Force a whole lot in all of the episodes. You've got episode 1. It's all about supposedly, we don't know if he's really a Jedi or a Sith, but it's a guy who's killing off Sith, but he's using a red lightsaber. And then you've got the 9th Jedi where you've got 8.
It was a trap for the Sith. Yep.
Laid on by the Siths. And then the Akakiri is all about the Sith overcoming that shogunate. Yeah. And even Lop and Ocho was all about the Sith again overcoming that natural city. Natural planet.
No, that was the Empire, not the Sith. That was the Empire.
Wasn't
that was a galactic empire. Yeah, I mean, even though that's why I think Palpatine or Emperor Palpatine, even though he's a Sith Lord, he is definitely a Sith Lord, but the way he runs, it's not because he's
trying to inculcate or spread.
It's not because of him being a Sith. It's just something else that's why he is established a galactic empire. It's different. Like his approach to ruling is not because he's a Sith that he has to rule. It's more of he just wants order, total order. So I mean, for that particular episode, Lop and Ocho, I feel like that's not a Sith thing and more of
an empire.
An empire. It's more of the empire controlling and then I don't know why there was a lightsaber, but it felt like if you remove it, it would have been a better episode where you have rebels, and so you have some more scum and villainy coming into play. But
Right.
yeah,
Had there not been a lightsaber, you would have liked Lupin Ocho better.
no,
You would have remembered it a bit more.
no.
I mean, but Joel's right though. The Elder's obviously about a Sith as well. Even
Because
Toby
the Elder
had
is
a,
the Sith.
even Toby
had
Obi-Wan
one Sith,
had a Sith in it as
a
well.
hunter, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah, but overall, I want to see less of the Force, whether
Side.
it's dark or light, and more of the guns, like the shooting and the bounty
could be,
hunting.
You want less of the fantasy and more of the sci-fi.
that's it.
Practically,
Yes,
that's it, yeah.
yes. You're
More
right.
fi-
Yes.
He wants more
That's
Firefly happening.
yes,
this episodes,
exactly.
in the
Because
episode.
there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot.
Oh
Like
yeah,
more
definitely.
starships. I even want like a episode that's just like a dog fight, like a dog
More
fight.
of the Resistance versus the Empire. in
Because I love that
space.
part of Star Wars. That's why I got drawn into playing TIE Fighter, X-Wing,
Yep.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
No.
All of
We-
these games.
We don't have a Scum and Villainy Star Wars game yet, as of yet.
No, that's so sad. We don't. Yeah. I like Fallen Order though. It had that kind of feel because you're like a, I don't know.
You can choose who you be. Going to be.
Yeah.
In my case, I actually want to see what happens to our little boy Toby. In his so there was a lot of really bad things that happened in a lot of these episodes. There are very few that actually ended in a high note. I think you can only count TOB1 as one of them. And Tatooine Rhapsody
Duel.
and probably the Village Bride. Duel, I guess so, yeah, because he continues on his journey to be
Yeah, and he saves the village.
to be the guy who just walks into trouble. I just wanted to see what happens because his goal, well, his master's goal, his original maker's goal was the most it's just
Noble.
not it's noble obviously, but I mean it's not limited to the planet that they were on.
Yes.
His dream was to make everything green again, right? It was cool that they were in a Tatooine-like planet. It was a desert planet. Even the we could actually even say it is Tatooine because the houses looked identical.
Yeah.
The house designs. And the fact that it started off as he was pretty much he was very similar to a brat, that he wanted to just do the stuff that he was because he was bored. He didn't see the point of it, and then terrible things happened.
It's his fault that Dr. Elephant died.
That Dr. Elephant,
Yeah.
armless Dr. Elephant died. We realized that he was extremely powerful. He was a very capable Jedi because he was probably able to fight back that Sith even without arms. But then again, he did not have a weapon. Maybe not. And
Because Toby was supposed to be his weapon.
Toby was he supposed to be the weapon? Was it transformed into a
He was
gigantic?
Astro Boy.
No, he was being protected. It just felt nice. I just wanted to see more of what would happen, where it would take him, what growth could happen. Again, yeah, I guess you're right. It's still more on the Force, on that side of things, the goodness of people. It's one of those stories that I wanted to see more of happening. There you go. I guess that's it.
No, wait. Before we end, I want to ask because I watched the entire series in English.
Yes.
Paul, what language did you watch it in?
Okay. I wanted to watch it in Japanese. I really did.
But you
it
were
was-
watching it with kids.
But it was very late. And I don't think I would have been able to watch through it awake if
I
I was
see.
reading the subtitles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to see what the difference would have
It's
been.
very, very significant from my point of view. Very significant.
Really? Like how?
So obviously, you're watching anime. From my point of view, is a It's a whole package experience. What I mean about that is that it's not just moving pictures. I mentioned earlier how important or how very deeply ingrained music is to anime. How important the opening and ending sequence have been. At least from the way I appreciate anime, how I enjoy it, is that I include all of those. Right. That's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed Tatooine Rhapsody, because of how the music was an integral part of the story. Now the language has a flavor of its own. It's the way that they talk, they say these concepts of how, and there is a impact to what I'm seeing when it is spoken with Japanese, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That is different if you watch it with English language. It's just that the English language seems to be not as emphatic, doesn't have as much feeling when, let's say, you have this deep, gravelly, monotone Japanese voice, and it says, "Omae wa shinderu," and then something happens. It just adds to it just adds, because I tried switching between them. It's okay. This seems like a very, very interesting. And it's quite possible with Visions, because there's like 10, 12, 15 minutes long episodes. So I can just quickly rewatch it. And it just, for me, it had a very, very significant impact.
Was Visions created first really to be an anime, or did they already have in mind that, okay, this has to be in English? And then they also just got Japanese voiceover actors.
No idea, because these are Japanese studios that don't necessarily produce English targeted cartoons or shows. These are studios who target the Japanese market. So my assumption is that it was Japanese. I guess you could say that Animatrix was targeted for an American audience, despite having a lot of Japanese influence. Whereas I think Visions, from the get-go, was that here we're going to give it to Japanese studios, and the Japanese studios, obviously by default, will be targeting a Japanese audience. It's what they deliver. It's just that the Japanese audience is very global in terms of their appeal. So I think it's quite possible that they designed it to be Japanese first and then dubbed in English.
Just brought in the star power with Simu Liu, Alison Brie, and all of this.
It's quite possible that was the case.
Okay.
So if you do have the opportunity, try watching them one at a time, if that's gonna help you. One at a time, and in Japanese.
I'm going to revisit some episodes and watch them in Japanese. It's in the plan.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And probably not that late in the evening, early in the morning, so that you don't
I think that would help.
So that is it for this episode. We all generally like the idea of more innovative and experimental storytelling in Star Wars. Something apart from the popular characters or adjacent to the usual spots. The Vision series is an exciting proof that Disney is keen on exploring this as well. And we definitely hope for more. Next time, look forward to our reactions to the upcoming Hawkeye series. That's happening. It's super, super soon. It's like a couple of weeks from now.
Yep.
And hopefully, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We can finally watch it.
Finally.
And react to it. As always, dear audience, we hope you tune in to our next episode and continue to hang out with us. Till then, bye. May the Force be with you.
And also with you.